Hey, what is up, mortals? Welcome to What If Toga Was in One, a Season 1 Part 1. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So, we begin. Himiko Toga always had an appealing allure for blood. When she was a child, Himiko gave her parents a present. Isn't it pretty? Her mother turned around only to give out a blood-curdling scream at the sight of a lifeless bird, specifically a thrush. Himiko's father came in quickly at the sight of his child holding up a mangled and blood-ridden animal in his living room. Her parents gave their daughter an uncomfortable look as if she were a monster in the disguise of an adorable little girl. "Why can't you be normal?" her father shouted. Little Himiko gazed up at her patriarch and sobbed uncontrollably. While her father scolded her, Himiko's mother sympathized with Toga. When father left the room to be in his thoughts and stayed in isolation, Himiko continued to cry. Her mother lowered herself to the young child's field of vision and comforted her beloved. Himiko's mother helped Toga see how what she did to that bird was wrong. In a helpful manner, she helped Toga grow throughout the years. Somehow, a motherly instinct gave the woman the realization that suppressing her abnormal tendencies like her bitter and detached husband wanted would be dangerous for her daughter's development. When it was time to know what Toga's quirk was from the family doctor, the little girl and her mother were told that she has a transformation quirk that can make her transform into someone else by ingesting their blood. The little miss was happy knowing that she at least had a quirk, but was discouraged by what she had to do to stimulate her quirk. Her mother was a little concerned regarding what her father would think. More importantly, what others would think. When leaving the doctor's office, her mother paused and spoke to her beautiful daughter. "No matter what quirk you have, I will always love you." Those words struck Himiko. She felt at ease going home with her mother. Toga's mom decided it would be beneficial for her if she could get her mind off her home life and study. She put her daughter in gymnastics. As soon as lessons started, Himiko fell in love with the sport and continued to go above and beyond. By the time junior high at Esuha Girls Academy came about, Himiko was harassed about how her quirk was more of a villain quirk than a hero quirk. This was not the first time she was tormented by her peers on her quirk. She did everything she could to be proud of what she was. Her mother was by her side. That is all that truly mattered. The energetic yet timid girl bumped into a bubbly round-faced girl. All of Toga's assignments and notes were on the floor, but as she was trying to pick them up, the other girl came down and helped her out. The fair-haired child was shocked at what just happened. No one would ever help her out. "Sorry about that," the quiet girl said as she looked up and saw the face of the person who was helping her. "Achako Uraraka, nice to meet you." Himiko grabbed her paperwork and correctly laid them all in her folder. Their eyes met and Toga spoke as soon as their eyes met. Himiko, Toga Uraraka and Toga normally went to each other's residences to hang out. Sooner or later the question came up. "So Himiko, what's your quirk?" When she heard the question, a sudden chill of anxiousness came. Himiko did not want to ruin their friendship in any way, shape, or form. The question pierced right through her chest like a bullet. She hesitated. Can you do me a favor?" Achako looked at her and slightly leaned her head to the right. "What is it?" Himiko closed her eyes and told her companion. "If I tell you my quirk, can we still be friends?" "Of course I'd still be friends with you." Uraraka smiled softly. The blonde was feeling embarrassed but grabbed a safety pin that was laying around on her desk and exhaled. "Can you please hold out your finger?" Uraraka held out her index finger and Himiko softly grabbed it. She pricked the safety pin on the tip of her finger. Uraraka winced but trusted her actions. Himiko positioned her finger on the blood droplet that was on Uraraka's finger, then removed it. Toga placed her tongue on her finger and swallowed it. Before Uraraka's eyes, Himiko transformed her appearance to resemble Achako. She was astonished and astounded by what she witnessed. "That is so cool. You could be like a sneaky hero or the master of disguise or something." Himiko teared up and smiled. Someone finally treated her curse as a blessing. As junior high was ending, Himiko and Achako talked about what schools they would want to join. There were so many to choose from and the hero courses in each one. Himiko looked through the catalogs and brochures exhausted. Uraraka needed to provide some sort of extra income for her family. Himiko searched up on the internet for different reviews and ultimately UA seemed to have the best hero course out there. They both gave a sure nod to each other. Toga was aware of Uraraka's situation and was sure she would do well in this school. Not only was she looking out for Achako, she wanted to prove to her father that she can be a hero. They both celebrated finally finding a school that would propel them into good education and a secure future. Although Toga could do well as a stealth hero, she had no fighting ability. Junior high was almost up, and she still had time to get into the UA entrance exams. Uraraka could easily win with her quirk, but it was going to be difficult getting anywhere with her quirk. "Never fear, for I am here." Uraraka exploded into the same room as Himiko. She leaped into the air startled, but after that, all she could hear was laughing coming from Achako. "We're about to be high schoolers and you're being juvenile." "Nah, who am I kidding?" That was hilarious. The maturity in the dynamic duo was slowly declining through each passing moment. After the whole fiasco, Himiko informed Uraraka of her predicament. She put on her thinking cap and paraded around in circles. A light bulb turned on and she told Himiko, I know what we can do. Why don't we train together? I mean, you can try fighting without using your quirk and I can throw stuff at you so you can get stronger. Himiko's blank face had appeared. Learn to fight without your quirk. Oh, why didn't you say that before? Himiko understood the situation with slight rewording. The two set off at a park where Uraraka and Toga has on some sports gear. Uraraka and Himiko both started to work out together and ran to each of the Kansai district's different landmarks and locations. Toga was fast and agile, but she had a hard time finding a way to damage anything Uraraka threw at her. Toga needed something to gain an advantage. When she got home, Himiko headed to the kitchen to find some ramen to eat. Her parents were not home, so she had free rein to raid the fridge. As she waited for the noodles to boil, she turned on the TV and saw that the local gym was ready to train young heroes to become fast and fit. She gave off a smirk and got pumped up. All right, Uraraka, I'll kick that fanny of yours and show you that I'll be a hero with you. As she said this, the boiling water spilled onto the kitchen floor and ruined her meal. Prep. On the first day to apply for the gym, she met with the gym trainer and used her dad's credit card to subscribe for a monthly membership. Toga was very excited, and as soon as she danced in glee, the payment went through and training began. Through rigorous training and juicing, it took a while for Toga to become strong. She had a hard time revealing her quirk to her trainer. She told him she had a blood-related quirk. Oh well, little miss, looks like you're in luck because I happen to know a certain someone who could help. Himiko tilted her head to the left and wondered who he was talking about, but accepted the help. 2 months before the entrance exams happened, her trainer tested her fighting skills with a sparring match. She swiftly punched his throat, slid under the man, and kicked his head with her right foot. She realized that she was not supposed to mortally abuse her trainer, but he was proud. Wow, I mean, you can hold back on me in the future, but you did well, Himiko. Also, I talked to a pro hero about your quirk relation and well, he's willing to meet up with you soon. A tall man with white hair barged in and introduced himself. Hello, my name is Sekijiro-kan, but most people call me Vlad King. My friend here said you needed help with your quirk. Himiko's eyes brightened up like a million Christmas lights that turned on one after the other. You have a blood quirk too? She questioned, and he nodded. Yes, I do. My quirk is blood control. Basically, I can shoot blood out of my body and either make it hard so I can use it as a boxing glove or just manipulate it to do whatever I want. He paused for an instant and finally asked, So kid, what's your quirk? She became shy, looked to her trainer and gestured for him to get out of the room. Fine, I'll be out of your way, just come up to the checkout counter when you're ready. After the trainer left the room, Himiko told Vlad King her quirk. I only told a couple of people my quirk since it's considered an evil quirk. My mom and my best friend are the only people who consider me worthy of being a hero. Sekijiro gave her a silent nod showing that he listened. If I ingest someone's blood, I can take on their appearance and features. I never ended up using it because that would mean I need to get blood from someone. And I don't want to be a bad guy cause my dad and everyone at school will be right. Sekijiro was sure of what he wanted after he heard her story. Train with me. Your quirk is something you're born with, not something that's been given to you. I know what you're going through, Toga, and I'm willing to show you how to be a hero with your quirk. She felt a bunch of weight drop from her chest and smiled. After 2 months of being trained by a pro hero, Toga got used to her quirk and became proficient in combat. She made herself more useful in espionage and stealth since that was what her quirk was best for. Vlad King was still her mentor and became a teacher at UA the same year she was applying. At the gate outside of UA, Himiko stared at the building with a twinkle in her eye. Sekijiro decided to be covert and wears a coat with a hat. Himiko turned to him and laughed. You look like a pervert. Toga laughed loudly and made a commotion. The shrouded pro hero yelled at her. I'm trying to be discreet. At that point, all the future students looked at the grown man arguing with an adolescent girl. He put on a straight face. Kid, I'm proud of you. And with what you learned, I'm sure you can pull this hero thing off. As he said that, he gave his young apprentice a smirk that showed his teeth. Himiko gave off a genuine smile and hugged him. They separate and Achako greets her friend. Himiko, she yelled at a distance, and Toga greeted her as well. They both exchanged a hug and Achako saw the man walking away from Toga and asked her, who's that? Oh yeah, that's my mentor Vlad King. He overheard their conversation in the distance and ran away trying to avoid suspicion. Oh, well, he's a pro hero, right? Toga nodded and made it known that she was correct. I'm going to go tie my shoes and head inside, okay? Achako bowed and smiled. Uraraka then walked into the building, but as she was doing so, she noticed a messy-haired boy fall and caught him with her quirk. Are you all right? Izuku Midoriya looked around and screamed. She clapped her hands and said, It's my quirk, sorry for using it without asking first, but it'd be bad luck if you fell right. Himiko tied her shoes and got up. She saw the meridian-haired boy and Uraraka as she ran past them, trying not to ruin their chance at getting frisky with each other. After she took the written test, she was more than happy with the results and watched as the instructor, Present Mike, continued to explain about what the mock battle is and what each person must do to pass it. Toga was only slightly irritated that there would be giant robots all over the city. She was only trained to combat people. But regardless, she will get in and crap all over her father's expectations. After the speech was given, all the soon-to-be students were gathered outside the mock battle arena and waited for the timer to start. Unfortunately, she couldn't be beside Ochako during the exam, but hopefully, after this, she could show off her new abilities. The exam started and Himiko began to run blindly into the fray. All right, let's kill them all. A bunch of exam takers near her were worried. The hell is wrong with you, idiot? Shut up and distract these things so I can pass. For a split second, one random guy shouted. She looked back with a murderous gaze. Bakugo yelled at her after taking down a 1-point robot. Himiko deviously smiled. Yeah, I'll distract them, all right, loudmouth, the dastardly dangerous young woman said. Himiko watched as a 3-point robot threw itself at Bakugo. The ticking time bomb teenager was about to incinerate the iron-cladded automaton, but the devilishly daring deviant decided to commit foul play. She misdirected Katsuki and screamed, "Blondie, behind you." Bakugo hesitated. He looked behind him to see nothing but the street filled with one-pointer robots dismantled and mangled on the pavement, while the juvenile jester jumped on the neck of the 3-pointer golem and ripped the wiring out to power down the pod. "What the hell, lady?" As he was about to berate her, she vanished. The exam went on and Toga continued to rack up points. As soon as the arena traps appeared, her eyes saw how big the iron giant was. All she could do was leap out of action with her spry flips and spring away from the colossal threat, climbing onto nearby lampposts, swinging off them to get more airtime. Some examinees were underneath rubbles and she chose to save them, so they did not get crushed. Himiko fell from the sky, landing softly next to one of the test takers. She removed some of the rocks and pebbles off him and lifted his arm over her neck. The heroic stealth hero in training ran away from the menace, but Toga wasn't gaining any speed while the mechanical beast was close to stepping on them. Luckily, that bombarding bastard Bakugo flew in the air and released enough explosions to level a city. Nevertheless, in a flash, he took out the 0-pointer robot with a lot of focused firepower. The reckless adolescent girl gazed at the fair-haired exploding loudmouth and smirked. After she took that exhausting exam, she went home and was greeted by her father. "Where were you?" Toga looked down but then raised her head to grin at her father. "I just came back from taking the entrance exam at UA." Her father seemed to be flabbergasted, then looked deep and thought he still saw his own daughter as a freak. No matter how long she lived in his household, he always thought she would snap and kill them all. "UA, you know it's hard to get in there, especially with your quirk." The young rebel rebutted. "You're such a grouch, have faith in your daughter for once." He scoffed and grumbled after hearing such disrespect. "Your mother will be home soon." He then left the house and got in his car. Himiko sighed, walking into her home. Her father did not seem excited to talk to her again. Toga slammed the door. She only had to wait a week for her results. The determination and strive in Toga were starting to bolster. Himiko was going to UA and there's nothing stopping her. Crap, bills, crap, more bills, weekly shonen jump, crap, UA entrance exam results, crap. Wait, what? She grabbed a knife and opened the letter quickly. Holy crap. As soon as the disc fell upon the desk, a projection of the number 1 hero All Might greeted her. "I am here." As a projection. Who's this beefcake? She admired the physique of the symbol of peace, but noticed quickly who he really was. "Wait, you're All Might." The heroic-looking man posed, showing off his muscles, and made Toga look smaller than she already was. "Yes, I am. Assuming you said, look at his All Might. Anyways, young Toga, your skills have been talked about by the staff at UA and your quirk is very peculiar. But it is not the quirk that makes the hero, it is the person who uses it. A friend of yours told me to say that. I think you know whom I mean." All Might was interrupted by a voice in the background. "What do you mean I am stalling? Wait, how many of these do I have left?" Geez. The girl who received the message had a blank face and turned off her brain. "You will be assigned to Class 1 and young Toga, this is your hero academia." After years of pain and the hardships that have befallen this young girl, the same girl who was considered to become a villain quietly began to tear up when she made it. Himiko finally started to walk down the road of a hero.